Welcome to the Living Big podcast, where we're all about embracing life to the fullest. Hey, I'm Marley.
And I'm Kylie, and we're thrilled you're here. We explore how to pursue our passions, nurture meaningful connections, and inject some serious fun into our lives.
We're here to show you you're not alone.
And we want to do what we can to ease the stresses of everyday life and help you in your journey of living big.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Living Big podcast. We're so excited to have an amazing guest here, Brynlee Cowley. She is a health and wellness coach working with busy women. Love it. We have a little bit of a brief overview of her expertise in building lasting habits with food and promoting a positive relationship with nutrition. She is from Patterned Peace, or that's her Instagram and business bio. Her handle. She's a new friend. We met up through a bunco group that we all have kind of mutual friends bunco. With. But we asked if she wanted to be on the podcast, and she was like, sure. Love it.
Yeah, we love your page. And also, I feel so sad that I missed the bunco you hosted because everyone talked about the food nonstop. Literally. You sent the recipes in, and I was like, I'm dying. And then Marley literally has talked about it like probably 5 times since then.
Nonstop.
She's like, the pork.
The pork lives in my head rent free. Okay. She made this pork tenderloin and it was like medium rare kind of a thing. It was so good. The Dijon on top.
I don't always make fancy recipes, but when I do.
I mean, when you're having a party.
When you're having a party, yeah.
Gotta go.
And then I think I put this in. Yeah, I did. I put it in the bio, but she's a wizard with a Ninja Creamy because she made us all Dole Whip too.
I love my Ninja Creamy.
And I tasted no difference. It was so good.
That's so nice. Thank you.
She is currently being certified as a nutritionist and hopes to work with women who are busy with work and family. She believes in a more holistic approach to nutrition and is all about balance. She loves music and cheesy potatoes and outdoor adventures. And yes, she can cook.
I know. I'm like, if you're listening to this podcast episode in the morning, hopefully you're like already getting hungry and then now you have an idea for dinner.
Absolutely. Yes. Maybe we link the recipe she
shared. Yeah. Oh my, it's so good. And it's pretty easy too, actually. So I'm all about the good taste and easy.
Yeah, because so many recipes that taste really good, they have like 15,000 ingredients. Right. Yep. And it's really complicated. And me and my husband are like, that just took 4 hours. Yeah. We don't even want it.
See, and then it's expensive because you're like, I didn't have any of that in my pantry or whatnot before this.
Right. It doesn't actually then taste as good because of like the diminishing return, you know?
Right.
The cost.
So we're going to pick your brain and learn all about food and nutrition and how to make it easy and accessible because we are busy moms. So we're like, this is literally perfect for us. Because we're very busy.
I'm so excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay, we want to let you get to know Brynlee a little bit more than just our bio. So we're going to ask her some questions and let her also talk about herself. Tell us a little bit more about your personal journey that led to here. Like, how did you decide to want to become a coach and focus on wellness and eating and nutrition?
Yeah, so I have kind of always loved like psychology and the behind the scenes of what goes on in people's brains. I love like thinking of the processes of thoughts and actions and how that develops into habits and everything. And so I minored in psychology in college. And then I ended up graduating in economics and psychology. And I kind of like wasn't really sure where to go with that next. And I've always also wanted to do like life coaching.
Yeah.
And then when I was serving my mission, I kind of got into more like of the health world, and I can kind of talk about that. But basically, long story short, I was like, instead of becoming a life coach, I think I just want to kind of combine those two things. Mm-hmm. And so a health and wellness coach fit perfectly into that. And then I wanted to study nutrition so that I would be able to have more of a background in that because I needed more knowledge because that's not what I studied originally in college. So that's kind of how it started out. But yeah, growing up, like I was living off of like grilled cheese quesadillas. And by growing up, I mean like this was me in college, right? Like I was like literally grilled cheese quesadillas, like pasta, like just all of the foods, like no fruits and vegetables, like I guess maybe some fruits
Just
like
all
here
carbs
and
and
there,
dairy,
but yeah, basically
I mean,
carbs and dairy, like cheesy potatoes.
Can't we all relate?
Yeah.
It was like
Yes.
quick, cheap, easy.
Yes,
You know,
right.
quesadillas were a staple.
Yeah.
Food.
Are
Right.
a staple.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Still.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have a toddler.
And it's- yeah, right. And it's like, it's not to say that those foods like are bad or whatever.
But
I
if
don't
that's
think
all
there's
you're
good
eating,
or bad. But if
yeah.
if your whole entire like lunch and dinner is just a straight up quesadilla, like you might want to expand your horizons a little
Probably
bit.
not
So,
getting all the nutrients you need.
Yeah.
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 For the complex body, you know.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's turning quesadillas into babies. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, so when it was like funny, I actually sometimes will attribute like how I got into nutrition to the salad. And this is the backstory of that. So I was on my mission and I was at dinner with some of the members, and I remember they were putting all the food out on the table and it looked amazing. And they had this like big, huge salad, and it was like arugula, sweet potato, nuts, goat cheese, berries, like it's really
Like a good
hearty,
salad.
good,
Got a lot
like,
of stuff in
salad.
there.
Yeah.
But I didn't see like meat on the table. I didn't see like another dish, and I was expecting, and I was like, wait, like isn't that just a side salad? Like where's the actual meal?
Yeah.
And then I like
Like, that's the
had,
veggie.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like,
And where is the
and where
rest?
is it?
That's the side that we skip, I guess.
Yeah, and so I was like so confused, and then that was like the salad was like the main dish, and it actually tasted so good. And that was like literally the first salad in my life that I was like, wait, salad is good. I was like, salad is kind of yummy. And so that kind of like led me down this path of just like, oh, maybe there actually are some healthy foods that like taste good too. So yeah, and then that was kind of kick-started the learning about health.
Expanded your horizons beyond just
Yeah.
quesadillas and
Yeah,
pasta.
yeah.
No, it really is an interesting thing for so many people. Like, salad is a side, or people don't put anything in their salad. It's literally just lettuce and some dressing or whatever. So
Yeah.
when you learn that, like, there's a variety of foods you can eat as
Right.
a main entree,
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. I like that.
yeah.
So that kick-started kind of like your health and wellness journey. Mm-hmm. And then
Yeah.
how did you get into, like, specifically, how did you come home from your mission and say, okay, now, like, this is what I want to do, and really focus in on and get certified in?
Yeah. So I started my full-time job like after college back in January of 2022. And I was doing social media and loved the people that I was working with, but the job was just like not for me. Like I was just getting burnt out. I was like, why did I just go get a college education to spend my whole day like writing captions for Instagram posts? I was like, this is not really what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And so I was just like having this crisis. My poor husband, I would just like cry to him. I was just like, I don't want to do this. I was like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And so then just after pondering and thinking about what I wanted to do, I ended up deciding like, okay, I want to certify as a health coach and a nutritionist. And I've always loved helping people. Like even I still work a full-time 9 to 5, but I find a lot of like passion in being able to help people. And so I love that coaching gives me the opportunity to do that, and to, I mean, a lot of coaching is just like asking questions and like empowering the person that you're working with to create their own results.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just love that aspect of it.
Well, and I think one of the cool parts about coaching specifically, because both Marley and I have also talked about life coaching, and I've had
Psychology and
I've
all
had
of that.
a lot of experiences with some cool life coaches and, you know, different aspects of that. But I think one of the best parts about coaching is if you found something that works for you, you now get to help other people who just don't even know that exists.
Right.
But they're looking for it, they're seeking for it, and you're like, listen, like, if this can help me, I bet you there's somebody else out there who could this could really benefit and help.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really cool aspect of coaching is, okay, this worked for me. Let me help you try and do it for yourself in your own way, which is awesome.
I love that. I also feel like it's important to, in any kind of changes or maybe course corrections in your life, it's nice to have someone that you're accountable to. And I feel like that for me personally is like the best reason to have a coach is like that person can obviously like, you know, kind of help guide you through things, but they can keep you accountable to those things. And that I think for me is like one of the biggest struggles I have. So
yeah, cool. The support is like crucial in any transformation or building a habit.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more about yours is called Pattern Piece, right? Tell me how you came up with that name, why, like what that means to you as well.
Yeah, so I'm a religious person and I prayed about it. I was like, I want to know what name I can put into this business that can help me to help others, and that can bring them to this space that I'm creating. And so peace was the thing that came to my mind. And honestly, at first, like, I actually didn't love it. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to put peace into this. Like, I don't know. It sounded a little like hippie to me. I was like, I just don't really know. I don't understand. And then I was writing down like so many different names, trying to come up with ones that would work together. And I had recently like really wanted to make a quilt jacket. And so I was thinking about quilting and I was thinking about like patterns and stuff like that. And then Patterned Piece was what came out of that, and I love that patterns, you know, you have the habits that you're doing, like repeated patterns, but you also have all of the parts of wellness that fit together. So like the holistic aspect of it is the mind, body, spirit, you know, all the aspects that come together in this beautiful pattern. And you can imagine a quilt. And so that's where it came from.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. That's way cool.
Thanks.
I love that.
I love that it is like all encompassing. It's like more than just nutrition as well. It's like your overall wellness, which is really amazing. Yeah. So I like that name a lot. That's cool.
Thanks.
I like how you came to it and everything. Okay, I have a couple fun questions and then we'll let Marley kind of ask you some questions too. But what's your go-to favorite meal to make at home?
Ooh.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, this is great. I tend to not stick to like one thing. I'm always trying new recipes because I get sick of foods really easily.
No,
I
feel that.
Yeah, but I would say that probably one of the biggest staples in our house right now is there are these like black bean burrito bowls, basically. And so you do quinoa or you can do rice. And then you have the beans, you have sweet potato, and then you have like the Costa Vida, like yummy type sauce, the cilantro ranch sauce. You can add meat in there if you want, but they're just like good, hearty, yummy bowls.
Yeah, that sounds so good.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah. It's yummy.
I'm all about that kind of like taco salad kind of thing where you just dump and go and everyone can like picks their own thing.
Right.
Love that.
Yeah. Oh, and top with avocado.
Ooh.
Perfection.
Extra.
Yeah.
It's like so fresh but full of protein. I like the sweet potato touch that you were saying too.
Yeah.
Like that makes it extra yummy.
Yeah, it's super good.
Okay, so we already kind of talked about the Ninja Creamy, and maybe this is your favorite, but what's your favorite kitchen appliance?
Ooh, okay. Actually, I have a big opinion on this one.
Perfect.
Glad we
So
asked.
yeah, this is, and they're like not sponsored, but there's this thing on Amazon, and it's like a, what are those called? You like puree soups with it. I like literally can't think of the name.
Like
Immersion blender.
Immersion
Yeah.
blender.
So it's
yes.
basically like that, but the immersion blender part will come off,
Okay.
and then you can there's a whisk that it comes with. There's like a
Oh.
frother, and then you can also
A multi-tool.
yeah, it's awesome. And then there's also like a food processor thing, and it has the blade in it, and then you attach like the head to this blade, and you can like chop up your food or whatever, process your food, and it's just like multi-use amazing.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
You're going to have to
Swear
send
by
us
that.
the link for
I
that
know.
so we can share that because I'm like, I've never heard of such a thing that
Yeah.
could do that many things in
Right.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very nice.
I've had it on my wedding registry. And so when we got it, I was like, I had no idea how much I would use this. And so,
That's awesome.
yep, it is a staple in our house.
I love it.
Love it. Yeah. Kai and I are also like pretty big foodies. And so I feel like we probably also have our own like opinions on on appliances. At least for my house, we are very also like multi-purpose tool kind of friendly. And our favorite is the Ninja Foodie. And it's like a kind of like an Instant Pot and an air fryer and a yogurt maker and all of the above. And it's,
That's amazing.
oh my gosh, we use it every single day.
That's cool. I've never even actually heard of that. So I need to look it up now.
I'm not like a big fan of all the gadgets and stuff. Like I know there's like a banana cutter you can get, and like an avocado cutter you can
Why do you
get,
need a
and, like,
separate banana
I
cutter?
don't know. I mean, if you like those, you do you. That is awesome.
Somebody needs to explain that to me.
Yeah.
I don't.
But for me,
see what
I'm just
that
like,
means.
oh, like there's not that much room in my kitchen. I want everything that I use like pretty frequently. But this one for me is really important. A lemon squeezer.
Oh, yeah.
Not the ones you have to like hand, squeeze and whatever.
Yeah.
Mine's yellow, and you put half a lemon in it and you just squish him down. And I have a lot of citrus in my life, so
Yeah.
I love it.
lemon
That's a good one.
and limes. That's like probably my favorite tiny little one. And then a good pizza stone. I also, growing up, my family makes tons of homemade pizza, and so I like good dough, real pizza, like fresh mozzarella. Just like if you're gonna make a pizza, make it good.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But I'm also I like Little Caesars too. No hate, no shame
Yeah.
to any pizzas. But a good pizza stone just cooks your pizza so different. So I'm like, they're expensive and an investment, but I also got one on my wedding registry, and I'm like, love it so much.
Game changer.
Yep. For all
Absolutely.
baking stuff,
Yeah.
it's great.
Right.
All right, we're going to be talking about some nutritional myths that we're going to demystify. What are some common nutrition myths or misconceptions that you often encounter in maybe your schooling, in life? What have you found out there?
I have a decent amount of these.
Okay.
So I think
got a bunch.
I think there are a lot of myths going out around and all about the wellness world. And I can't say I'm an expert, right? Like I'm new to nutrition and wellness, but like I have done research on some of these. And I would say like one of the number one things, and I think this is like phasing out, is just like dieting and diet culture in general. Like I definitely think that there are still like people who want to like diet, but then it ends up being like the yo-yo diet type thing where it's just like I go from one diet to the next, or I go from dieting to not dieting to dieting again, and trying all these different diets to see like which one works best and whatnot. And I do think it's good to like experiment with foods and experiment with maybe trying new foods or cutting out food groups and seeing, okay, do I feel better? How do
Right.
I feel after this?
Like even what you were saying about the salad, you're like, I didn't even realize like that could be a main food, or like
Yeah.
I could eat more veggies and it's actually
Right.
yummy.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But I totally see the side of just
yeah. So
going
I
too
would
far
say
in the diet world.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I just think like I'm all about sustainability. And like a lot of times dieting is not sustainable. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, change your diet. I'm all for that. But change your diet to something that's sustainable, not just like I'm going to do this for like a couple months and then stop or whatnot.
My husband and I always talk about how food should be like a lifestyle thing rather than like a fad.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I am like, I have a lot of health challenges. I have to eat pretty specific. I have to eat like a specific way, and I know that there are like whole foods are better for my body, and they work with me a whole lot better than other things. And so instead of thinking of it as like a diet, I'm like, I want to create an identity and like a habit of like, this is how I eat.
Right.
Not just like, oh, I'm trying to lose some weight or
Right.
whatever, and making it a lifestyle thing instead of a fad, I think has been really helpful, at least in my own personal experience.
Yeah.
So I love that. That's a
Yeah.
great myth to debunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't need all these diets.
Yeah.
But I do like that you said it is good to experiment, though, because there are things you just may never know. You may never know that you like a certain food if you aren't going to like try to do things a little bit differently.
Right.
Well, and then that I think encourages a lot of like reflection as well within how you and your body are feeling, kind of thing. And that in and of itself is a skill that I feel like a lot of people maybe don't have, kind of thing. Being able to kind of, test things out with food and just be like, what makes me feel best, kind of thing. And then kind of going in that direction, that would take a lot of practice, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It's a lifelong journey of what you love to eat and figuring out what works and what doesn't. So.
I love that.
Another myth is supplements. This is kind of a tricky one because supplements are great when you need them, right? Like if you have like anemia or something, you're low on iron, like maybe you're taking an iron supplement, or like if you're pregnant, you're taking a prenatal, right? So there are like great things about supplements for like deficiencies, but I see lots of people out in the wellness world who are out there popping like 10 pills a day, and like just for like the sake of just like having a supplement routine or whatever. And I think that even with like multivitamins, you really technically don't need a multivitamin unless your like diet is actually deficient in that area. But if you're eating a whole food diet and you're getting in your fruits and veggies and grains and nuts and whatever, then you really don't need to like spend all the money on it, right? It's not going to hurt you. Like if you take a multivitamin, like great, that's awesome. And it's not going to like harm you or anything. But really a lot of those things, like supplements, make a lot of profit. So you really just have to be careful of, if you are taking them, which ones you're taking, are they third party tested, and
Are
all
they
of that
actually
stuff.
helping you?
Yes, right, yeah, kind of with the experimentation thing again. Like, yeah, is this product actually making me feel better? Is it worth taking? So.
You were talking about iron supplementation, and when I was pregnant last, I was iron deficient, and I could tell it was really weird. But like I felt like I needed to chew on ice all the time. That was I'm never that way, but it was just weird. Anywho, but did the whole blood work because they have you do that when you're pregnant or whatnot, and they were like, you're iron deficient. I'm like, okay, so which supplement should I take? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, how much should I be taking? Couldn't tell you. I'm like, these are doctors.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anywho, so it took some experimentation to be able to decide, okay, do I want to chew ice right now or am I okay? Kind of thing, like just taking enough of it and hoping that it was like a good type of supplement kind of thing. Like you said, it can be very tricky. Oh,
Yeah.
It's all over the place, I feel like.
Yeah. No, it's hard to figure out what your body needs. And yeah, sometimes you talk with doctors and you're like, I don't feel like I'm getting the answers. And so sometimes I think it's great to like have all aspects of wellness, right? I don't think there's like a black or white. Like some people will try to be like, it's all alternative or it's all Western medicine and all doctors. And I'm like, I don't know, like
Maybe the worlds combine a little bit.
Yeah. And like, obviously it's whatever works best for you and whatever you feel aligned with. But I don't think it should be so black and white, like pitting people against each other because of the decisions that they're making in their wellness worlds.
Yeah, wellness is so complicated, I feel like, and it is like experts in the field are also still trying to figure things out. Most of my life, I've spent a lot of time in doctors' offices and lots of different kinds of doctors and different things. And I found that for a long, long time, nobody talked to me about nutrition ever. And for me, that was a journey I had to go on completely alone. And I'm grateful that there are people like you, like nutritionists and stuff that I could now like go talk to and get help from. But for a long, long time, it was just me trying to figure it all out on my own. And I do feel like one or the other doesn't have all the answers, but together they actually make a good pair. And for me, that was important. I needed medicine. I needed help from doctors, but I also needed this other wellness piece that was missing from those interactions that I was having.
Any other myths or misconceptions you want to talk about, help clear up?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of other ones I could talk about, but I think it's up to people to decide which of those trends and do the research yourself. You know, if you see something on the internet and you're like, this actually seems kind of questionable, like do the research, go look up studies and find out for yourself and find out what works for you.
I love that. We kind of talked about this, but how do these myths impact people's understanding of nutrition with their dietary choices?
Well, I think like just the myths floating around themselves, it can get really cloudy. I think that sometimes we can dive like, I know I've done this before when I was first starting out my health journey, like following like 20 different health professionals or whatever and trying to find all these different workouts and what does this person do and what does this person do and all these different things. I think that you can kind of get lost. And so I think just simplifying it down to what your body really needs and what fuels your body, what helps you feel your best. And then going off of that, I think just getting the clarity for yourself and then working with those professionals to make it work.
I love that. That's awesome.
I do feel like it takes some experimentation there because, like you were saying, it's so multifaceted. And if you're trying to follow 20 different people, they're all going to be doing it differently because that's what works for them.
Yeah.
And so there is some like experimentation in there where you have to try it. And then you're like, this doesn't work for me. Like, I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. It's not helping.
Yeah.
And then other ones, if you find someone that you really like, it's like kind of good to go all in on that if that's like helpful and beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to diversify and do everything all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, something I love too about like the beauty of the wellness space as well is that there are so many different people in different areas to help you figure it out, right? Like for people, if you have PCOS, there's someone who specializes in it or who has had it before, who's gone through it. You know, when you're pregnant, you might have other people who have specialized advice on pregnancy nutrition or postpartum or whatever. I feel like, or autoimmune disease, like there's a lot of wellness people out there who specialize in that. And so it is beautiful that you can connect with and find a community of people who are maybe going through the same or similar things to you and get advice and help from each other as well. That's back to that support thing. We need each other.
Yeah,
We really do.
it's so important. I want to ask you a little bit more about building lasting habits with food as well, because like we had talked about, dieting and fads and the yo-yo is not ideal.
Been there, done that. We're over
Yeah.
it.
So what strategies do you recommend for individuals who are struggling to build and maintain healthy habits when it comes to eating?
Yes, the age-old question. I think definitely number one advice is start small. Just start where you are and start small. There's like the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, you have to just do those building blocks. And don't, another saying, I love sayings, don't reinvent the wheel, right? Like if you're trying to drink more water in your day or whatever, like just maybe try for one extra glass. Like you don't need to go from like 8 to 15 or from like 4 to 7, you know, like you just need to start small and start somewhere. And realize that you're already doing a lot. I think that comparison is a huge thing in health and wellness. I think we're always comparing ourselves to their body, to what they're eating, to how much they're exercising, to what their daily routines and their daily habits look like. And it's just going to be different for everyone. And honestly, in my studies, one of the most incredible and like mind-opening things that I learned was just, 30 minutes of like even fast walking each day is like will significantly impact your health. So I know for like a lot of busy moms, if you're going on a walk with your kids, pushing them in the stroller, like you might be like, oh man, like this is not like exercise. Like I need to go do my like exercise later today. And maybe that's what you want, but maybe your 30 minutes of walking outside was just what your body needed for that day. And maybe that's the time of life that you're in or whatever. Yeah. So just recognizing that, like, I mean, I'm not a mom yet, but I'm busy with work and then with certification. And so sometimes a lot of the time I don't get my workout in or whatever, but realizing like, okay, I'm moving my body around. Maybe I'm standing at a desk or I'm just taking laps around the building. Like you could just start there and start with what you're already doing in your routine, building upon that.
Oh, that's so helpful too.
Helpful and hopeful.
Yeah.
For sure.
You don't have to go to from 0 to 1,000 in one setting. And then the odds are you're not going to be able to sustain that anyway. So I like the idea of like bite-sized habit making because it helps you actually build something that might stick around and be actually helpful.
Yeah. I had a couple other like more practical tips as well, because I know sometimes we're like, start small. You're like, well, like what do I actually do, right? Like what can I actually do? One thing that helped me, there's this app called the Yuka app, like Yuka, and you can scan like food labels and it will like rate them.
I think my mom has that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I think that you have to definitely take it with a grain of salt. Like, I don't think it's necessarily like sustainable to be scanning every single food item that you're eating ever.
I tried that with my FitnessPal.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's rough.
That was not sustainable.
Yeah.
You throw that out there.
Yeah.
For some it may be, but it just was not for me.
Yeah. So that is a helpful app, but I mean, the base of that is like checking labels. So if you're going to the store and I'm like, oh, I want fruit snacks, let me look at these labels and compare them. Because like, and sometimes even with a lot of like healthy products, right? Like you're seemingly healthy, whatever, you'll find like there are some protein bars. You'll look at a protein bar and you're like 26 grams of protein, says high fiber, whatever. You're like, oh, that's like gotta be healthy. You pick it up, you look at the nutrition label, 27 grams of sugar. And like, it's almost like, or it's just as much in a candy bar. So you really have to like be conscious of those. And I think that that's just something simple that you can do, is just those simple swaps. And it's not like I'm gonna obliterate my whole entire fridge and restart and like buy everything new. And like maybe you do that, I don't know, but for me it's like taking one swap at a time. It's like, okay, I really like soda, okay, I'm actually gonna switch it out for, I really love these like poppy drinks. And
We love poppy.
they're so good.
We are suckers for poppies and Olipop,
Olipop,
Right,
poppy.
yeah.
Kavita.
So good. So good.
Anything that says probiotic, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
sign me up.
Yes, I want that.
Get a little bit of fizz,
Yeah.
but maybe it's a little better for you.
Yeah.
They taste so good.
Delicious.
do.
Oh my goodness, they're
Yeah.
so good.
I genuinely love them.
Yeah.
There's got to be something extra in there. I don't know. It's that stevia that get me.
Yeah. Yeah, but and I think like even with going along with that, it's like you don't even have to, like, if you have some Dr. Pepper during the week, it's not like you're like, well, I'm not going to drink like any soda anymore for the rest of my entire life and I'm cutting it out. Here it is again. Like, it's personal, right? Like maybe you do that, but maybe it's just like, oh, I drink 3 sodas in the week. I'm going to switch one of them out for a poppy, or I'm going to switch one of them out to drink water instead. Just starting there, because that's where you build those habits.
Yeah, I think that's the swap mindset is really helpful too. Like, I know our husbands, they have a whole stocked kitchen at work, and it also has like the endless soda fountain, and they could totally abuse the heck out of that stuff. You could have
Like
a soda for
Costco snacks.
breakfast, lunch, dinner, every snack in between.
Right.
But my husband, he's like, I want to be mindful. It's not that I can't ever have soda, but he's like, I want to be mindful. So I'm going to say, I have a soda on Wednesdays at lunch or whatever it is, and so instead of
I love that.
just going ham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just being mindful.
Yeah.
And I think that at least for me personally, has been a really big part of my nutrition journey, is just being mindful. Like when I'm eating, okay, I'm just like focused on eating and making sure I'm only eating till I'm full. I'm not eating too much. I'm not eating too little kind of thing. And just being mindful about those choices and things. So
Honestly, in all aspects of health, I feel like mindfulness is super important.
and in life,
Especially because we live in a very fast-paced world and we have the technology we do. It's really easy to get swept up in mindlessness in any aspect.
Right.
Whether that's nutrition or anything else.
Right.
It's just, am I mindlessly eating? Am I mindlessly scrolling? Am I mindlessly like whatever? Or am I like focused? Am I present? Does it have a purpose? Is it helpful? Do I know it's even happening? Am I awake or am I like asleep, when I'm doing it?
Yeah.
Are some good questions to ask yourself when it comes to health and wellness, I feel like.
Definitely. Yeah. I think a huge part of mindfulness is the why behind it, right? Like we're like, oh, why am I eating? Am I full? Am I hungry? Like, why am I doing this? Or why am I scrolling? Like, do I want the connection? Do I just want entertainment? And so I think a huge part, just like you're saying, of that is the mindfulness and remembering why you're doing what you're doing and why you have the nutrition and health and wellness goals that you do have. I like to think of it thinking about your why and then thinking about if it aligns with your values. I think that's huge. I think that just kind of like in a short story experience for me, I know that I used to look at people on Instagram and be like, oh, I want to lose weight and gain muscle so I can look like her. And then I would look at my values and say, does that really matter that much to me? Like, does it really matter to me to look a certain way? And I would kind of just talk to myself about that and be like, you know what, actually, it matters more to me how I feel. It matters more to me how I take care of my body and being grateful for the body that I do have, and recognizing that my life is not her life. My body is not her body. We don't have the same genetics, we don't have the same metabolism. We don't have the same lifestyle. And so remembering why you're doing what you're doing is a huge part in sustainable habits.
I think the experience you were talking about, that's so hard for all of us.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely.
One of my favorite fitness and nutrition influencers named Cassie Ho. I just love her. I love all of
Obsessed.
her products.
She's so cool.
I absolutely just idolize her. But what
Shout
I
out.
appreciate about her is same thing. She's like, for years and years and years, I was like, I want a booty
Oh,
like
poor
so
thing.
and so. But then she finally realized I don't have the genetics for that. Like, she could kill herself
Oh, she
working
did.
out her booty.
She was in
Yes.
bikini competitions for like bodybuilding and stuff.
Yeah. And
She was killing herself.
Yeah, and she could never get her booty how she thought it needed to be.
Right.
Right. And
Also,
so-
how the internet told her it needed to be.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
are ruthless.
Yeah, they are.
Oh,
but
All about that base.
yes.
but what I
Yes.
love about what she said and your experience as well is that she finally realized I am already doing the things that make me feel healthy, strong, fulfilled, and I know like my body is the way it's supposed to be. So I need to stop like killing myself over trying to have something just because that's what I think I need, you know? And so she's like, if you are taking in account your health and you're doing everything you can to live a well-rounded, healthy lifestyle, we shouldn't be like trying to kill ourselves over the small, minute details of how we look or how we think we
How
should
society thinks you
Yeah.
should look, how you think you should look.
Yeah.
I do have to say that kind of a mindset shift is very mature, and I feel like you have to do a lot of kind of internal work.
Definitely.
Your own emotional maturity has to be at a certain level to be able to kind of let those things go. And especially on her situation, she's got a whole huge platform of people judging her constantly. And I definitely don't have that. We don't have that, right? But I still feel like the principles are the same, that like when you are going through this kind of journey and you get to that point where you're like, okay, I need to let go of how I think I should look, or trying to compare myself or trying to be a specific person, when you as a person is good enough. You are meant to be you and not meant to be someone else. Like, you're not meant to be Cassie Ho, right? Yeah. I'm not meant to be Beyonce, right? So it is.
Bummer.
I know. A little bit of a bummer. It is what it is, but being able to accept that and be okay with it. I love the idea of aligning your food choices, your maybe activity levels, things like that, with your morals. I think that really gives it a deeper meaning and a deeper connection and maybe deeper motivation to do those things.
And it will help it be more sustainable in the long run, I think. If there isn't like a real purpose or a real why behind it, like odds are you're maybe doing it for this week or whatever, and it's not going to stick
Yeah.
because it doesn't really mean enough to you.
Right.
But if it aligns with what you ultimately like, for me, I want to be a present mom. I want to be able to pick up my kids. I want to be able to run with them. I want to be able to play and be strong and like do all the things I want to do. So I know that I have to do certain things in order for that to happen.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't happen
Yeah.
and I can't do it. So I'm like, it has helped me to reframe like and make it part of my identity. And then it actually is something I can sustain, which is cool.
Yeah, I love, there's like a video on the internet that was surfaced a while back, and it was like showing this girl at the gym and she's like picking up weights, and then it shows like an older woman like picking up groceries or like going up the stair or like different things that are gonna last you your life. Like, and I know this is like silly, but it's like kind of relates to what you were talking about, and just like I'll think about like, oh man, like these weights are kind of heavy, and I'm like, this is like how much a baby weighs. I'm like, oh man, I gotta prepare like for the future when I have a child. I'm like, I gotta get strong so I can actually carry them and like not be tired all day.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it's thinking about the like that future mindset and like current mindset, right?
Yeah.
of what you want to be able to do with your body and take care of it.
And I want to like be able to be that way, not even just with my little kids kind of thing. Like I want to be able to do that with my grandkids, right? And have the mobility and sustainability at that age.
So it starts now.
And I don't know, at least from what I'm hearing you say is, one, it's not too late.
Yes.
Two, any effort is good effort kind of thing. And there's always little things that you can do little things that you can do and little things you're probably already doing.
Yes. Perfectly
to
summed
get
up.
there.
Yes. Amen. Start today.
That's what I'm hearing.
That is correct.
Okay, I have a couple more questions for you. I'm like, we don't want to take your entire, evening here, but also it's so fun talking with you. And I know. I hope this is, it's super helpful for me. So I'm sure it's going to be really helpful for our listeners too. But we lead really busy lives. So what advice do you have for us and for our listeners to balance nutrition amidst kind of the busyness and the hecticness of life?
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to my mind thinking about balance is just like asking yourself, like, what does balance look like for you personally? Because I think that there are some people who would be like, oh, balance, like you have to have every day, like if you have a treat, you need to balance it with a fruit or a vegetable. Or if you eat something unhealthy, you need to balance it with exercise. But personally for me, I don't really like looking at it that way because it just seems like an all or nothing type ideal. So I think that thinking about like what does balance look like for you and your life and with your goals in mind. And I think that a lot of like balancing it out in your life is just coming from like the little things you do, right? That help you to be healthy and to be sustainable. Like I love treats. I love desserts and I love to make desserts and I love treats. But I also know that it's important to eat healthy. And so I think if I'm doing both of those, I feel balanced. It doesn't matter what like the quantities of those are for me, right? Like obviously you keep in mind, like I'm not going to eat desserts just like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner
and never eat anything else.
Yeah. That would be like kind of nice if that was like actually what healthy eating was. But yeah, I think balance will look different for everybody. But as far as like balancing with busy schedules and stuff, I think mindfulness would be number one. Is just start there. Take a look at your day and see where can I kind of fill in those gaps or where can I make those swaps, right? Like not just with food, but maybe it's like, okay, well, I spend an hour after work watching TV. Maybe I can spend half an hour watching TV and half an hour working out. Or maybe I can do a couple ab exercises while I'm watching my show. Or just things like that to incorporate it more into your day. So that you don't just have to like cut everything out. And as moms, I can imagine that like your day is filled and your day is unpredictable, right? So just finding those moments. But I don't know what, I guess I would like Uno reverse card. Like, what do you guys feel like you do? Or what would your advice be as moms who are actually in this?
I love the like incorporating it into stuff you're already doing.
Yeah.
I think that's great advice. Even my husband and I, when we were first married, we would find it so hard to like keep up with the dishes, right?
A struggle.
And we finally were like, okay, well, we'll make a rule, put a sticky note on the TV that says we can't watch it until the dishes are done. And we tried that for about a week, and then it would just make us mad because we were like, we came home from a busy day and we were tired and we just wanted to like turn the TV on, but we had to do the dishes or whatever prescribed thing before we could turn it on. And so that was not sustainable or like beneficial for us. But when we switched it a little bit to more like, okay, we do the dishes every day, it doesn't matter if it comes before or after or during or whatever, it was helpful for us to actually be able to maintain that and incorporate it and get it done. And now we do the dishes every day and it's great. We don't go to bed with a sink full of dishes and it's super helpful for the next day. And it's like we had to switch from the mindset of like almost like restricting other things or like punishing ourselves to like do the more important thing. to how can we just incorporate it and make it part of our identity. Like we have a clean house, we clean up. That's what we do. And that was really helpful for us.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great. This is actually something that I'm working on currently, is creating consistent movement, because I did not grow up working out. That was not my thing. I didn't play a sport or anything. I was in choir. That's what I did.
Heck yeah.
I did some dance kind of thing. I did mostly just choir. And then I got here to Utah, and it seems like everyone is like uber health conscious, like way more than probably any other state in America, maybe even in the world. I don't know. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it did make me feel like I was inadequate when I got here. I was like, I just don't fit in because I don't know how to do any of this, right? And the gyms here are like overrun, and you can talk to literally anyone about working out and fitness and whatnot. Anywho, so coming here, that was a little overwhelming. So I kind of like tried to do that, what everyone else was doing, and it just like wasn't for me. I just didn't quite jive with it. And I am now at a point where I just don't have time to be like, I'm going to like change my clothes. I'm going to go to the gym for 30 to 45 minutes kind of thing. When on earth am I going to do that? I don't have that time.
Where are you going to put your kids when you're doing that?
Yeah.
That's the main thing, is what am I going to do with my kids, right? And so I have just like given up on being like, I have to have these strict kind of rules in my brain for it to actually count. And so I'm like, I don't have to change my clothes, you know? I don't have to sweat a ton. I don't have to like work out until I throw up, you know, for it to count. And so right now I'm kind of like in a 10 to 15 minute, like whatever I can squeeze in, whenever I can squeeze it in kind of thing. Like if my kids are randomly taking a nap at the same time, then I'm like, great, I have like a 15-minute break. I'm going to go do some squats, and that counts. Or one of the things I'm loving lately is doing a chin up hang. I just hang, and it helps my back. It just feels good for my body. And then because I have kids and most of the time they're awake or one of them's awake, I love to just like throw them in the air. And that's like a great arm and upper body workout. Oh my gosh, my arms, my upper back and stuff are always sore because of it. But I try to do that every single day because it's fun. Yeah. They love it. It's cute. And it's like, well, I'm getting my workout in. Another thing that I count as cleaning is if I'm like rigorously, as I count as cleaning, as I count as working out, is if I'm like rigorously cleaning my house, I know my heart rate is up. I know it's for a good, like at least an hour that I'm over there like scrubbing things down. I'm vacuuming the floor. I'm mopping everything. I totally count
Squatting,
that.
getting down to those hard to reach places, like climbing up on a cabinet.
Exactly. Yeah. I count it. So I think just like lowering the bar in my brain for what I will count as movement and exercise and things. I'm like, this is all contributing to the life that I want to sustain over a longer period of time. And you know, as I get into it and it becomes more of like a habit and more of like a need and a joy, then maybe it'll go up in time and I'll make a little bit more effort kind of thing. But like, I'm just making those little swaps like you were talking about and just counting more of the things because I'm like, I'm already doing a lot and I can do just a little bit more to feel even better. And it's made a huge difference.
I love that. I think, just like getting rid of the rules.
Yeah.
Just throw them out. Get it out of here. Those. Like, because like all of us are literally already doing like so good. Like we are all trying our best. We're trying our hardest. Like we're doing what we can and we're doing like what we feel is like best. And I think that that's exactly what you should like give yourself the credit, like give yourself the praise for like doing the dang things and like cleaning the floors. Like, I'll work out a sweat doing the vacuuming. Like it's hard work still, even though you're not like in a gym and like doing those conventional like rules of fitness and stuff.
Yeah. And it makes it so much more attainable. Again, like it's like practical. It's how you can actually fit it in as a busy human being rather than I used to think the same thing. If a class at a gym is an hour long, then I have to have an hour at home in order for that workout to count. That is just not helpful because if I don't have an hour, then I'm not doing it. It's better to do some than none.
Right.
Yeah.
So I might as well just give the time that I have. If I have 15 minutes, awesome. And incorporating your kids, that's another such a good tip for moms. Like, my little girl Coley, she thinks it is the most fun thing ever to turn on a YouTube video and squat with me. You know? Like,
I love that.
She does downward dogs and she squats and she'll do little Pilates moves with me.
Aww.
And it's fun. It's
I love it.
bonding for us, you know? And it's not hurting her. It's not like she's not doing anything crazy, but it's so fun. Or walks.
I love it. Yeah.
Absolutely loved what you said about just like fast-paced walking. So good to get your kids outside. So good for you to get outside, to get sunshine, to like put your phone down, to just like be able to feel and breathe fresh air. So I'm like, for me, that's a huge one is I can get a walk in. And if I do need to do some work on the side, if I need to take a phone call, I can do that and put my kid in the stroller and multitask.
Yep.
Yeah. Get multiple things done at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes my hot mom walk happens at Costco.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're trying to get out of this place.
Yes.
In and out. Love it.
It's fun to like also experiment with different ways of working out. I just did this past week a bungee dance fitness class.
I've seen those. They look so interesting.
It was really interesting. Like, it's not the most comfortable thing you've ever done in your life, but it's like pretty fun, and it's just fun to try out new things. And I did a like 15-day $1 yoga trial a couple months ago when my sister was in town, and I was like, oh, I actually really enjoy yoga. So trying different things too, like you might, like, even for people who maybe have the time to go work out and they love to do that like at a gym or whatever, or maybe they go to the gym and they're like, I don't love this, but I'm just kind of forcing myself to do it because it's physical activity. Like, maybe then go try a dance class, go try a bungee fitness class, go try a swim fitness, or like just different things that you can experiment with to find what you like, because then again, those are more sustainable if you have a passion for it and you're enjoying what you're doing.
A lot of places you can try for free once too. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there are a million gyms here in Utah, you can get like a whole month free of workouts if you want to by hopping gyms and doing different things. Like,
you could do way more than a month.
That's true.
I kind of looked into this, but you can do so many days of working out for free here.
And I love the idea of like making it fun too. Working out shouldn't be, I have to murder myself in order, again, for it to count or like mean something.
Yeah.
Because for so long growing up, I just was like, I don't like sports. I don't like running. It hurts my body. And I didn't like the traditional ways of working out.
Right.
So I was like, well, crap, I'm screwed because I know I need to move to be healthy, but I hate all of this. I don't want to play basketball. I don't want to play volleyball.
Yeah,
like,
you probably
for
shouldn't.
some people, that's super fun. But for me, that was like the worst thing in the world. Like, I don't want to ice skate. I'm going to break my wrist. So anyway, just so embarrassing, you know, or whatever. But experimenting and finding like, oh, I like to move my body through dance. Solid. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Or I like Pilates. Maybe my friends don't like Pilates. That's okay. Like, whatever you need to do. Or even making it a social, fun game. Like, get girlfriends together. And I did this with some girls, and we went and did yoga for free at a class. And it was so fun. It's so like, fun. Even if I don't do yoga all the time, fun way to hang out with friends and try something new.
Yeah.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Event Penguin, your go-to solution for creating unforgettable events. Say goodbye to clunky and hard-to-use event sites and create your next event in minutes today.
Whether it's a party, conference, or a networking event, Event Penguin has everything you need to bring your vision to life. Visit eventpenguin.com today and discover beautiful, customizable event pages that make planning a breeze. With a seamless guest experience, Event Penguin lets you focus on what truly matters, making your event a smashing success. Start building your community through events effortlessly. Jump in!
We've talked a lot about nutrition and exercise, movement, kind of all of that. And we touched a little bit on the kind of emotional side of things, being able to like let things go, and how you kind of have to be at like a certain point emotionally in order to be able to do that, right? From what I have seen on your Instagram and things like that, it seems like that's kind of the direction that you like to go, is looking at the whole kind of picture, not just what you're eating, not just what you're doing as far as exercise. What does that look like? The whole mind, body, everything connection.
Yeah, I think it comes back to the peace aspect and the values aspect and the why. I think that that's a lot of the like emotional mind spirit type aspect of the whole thing. Because I think that health should not be something that when you work on it stresses you out more. Like health is about your mind, body, and spirit coming together, and you feel good. And that means you feel like, you feel like you're getting your goals. You feel like your body feels good. You're not feeling sick, right? Mm-hmm. And you feel like your mind is at a place where you can be present. You can be mindful. Mm. And so, yeah, I think making sure that whatever goals you're setting and whatever food choices and exercise choices that you're making, that they're helping to bring down your stress levels and help you feel more at peace and more whole. Whole foods, whole life,
Yeah.
I was literally thinking about the name that you chose, Pattern Peace, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm like, what you were just saying, if you're just absolutely stressing yourself out so hardcore, then there isn't going to be any of that peace. Yeah. And that's not really that healthy.
I was going to say, it's probably very counterproductive if you're so stressed about your health. Mm-hmm. It's probably doing nothing good.
Yeah. So getting to a place where what you are implementing brings you more joy and more peace and more like overall fulfillment. Yeah. It should fill you up rather than completely depleting you.
Right.
And making it so that it's too hard to continue on. Like, I love that. I think that's so important because for some reason, specifically with health, I think most of us even subconsciously think the opposite. We think we have to be like killing ourselves in order for it to be impactful on our bodies. But our bodies actually need to be coming together in like a peaceful way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sometimes that does mean like kicking your can and doing a really hard workout or whatever. But it doesn't mean, that you're abusing yourself every day to try and
constantly
keep up a certain rigorous schedule. And that's not what health is. Overall health really is about like peace and bringing your stress levels down, both physically, mentally, and overall.
I love that.
Yeah, if you are getting in your physical activity, you're going to sleep better. If you sleep better, your mood's going to be better, your digestion's going to be better, your stress levels are going to be better. Like all of it works together. And so you need all of the different pieces of it. And just like you guys are both saying, is just build on what you already have and focus on what you can do instead of what you can't or you think you should or whatever be doing.
I love that. Well, this has been so fun to sit and talk about these things. I don't know about you, but it has helped kind of motivate me and kind of maybe change the way that I look at certain things. I have stairs in my house and I'm like, I'm up and down those stairs all day, every day.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm getting in my reps, Yeah. And so just making those little connections of like, those are the things that your body wants you to do and you're already doing them. Or, making the little swaps and making the little changes, things like that. And kind of just resetting your mindset and your expectations, I feel like has made already a huge difference for me. Just this conversation has been great. And I really appreciate everything that you've said and all the different pieces of advice you shared.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I appreciate your expertise and just like your willingness to be vulnerable about what started your journey, where you're at now, and like what you hope to do. I know that there are so many women who really can benefit from this kind of mind shift of like, okay, I really want to focus on my overall health and I want to make it a positive experience. And so I really loved just everything you've shared. You've been so bright and sunshiny and like so awesome to bring this to our listeners. So I can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you. I love how we were able to like bring everything like together. I like piece everything together, right? Like I'm so grateful for both of your insights as well into how we can just help each other out and cheer each other on.
We need more and more of that.
Yes. Absolutely. Isn't that what we're all about? Mm-hmm. Creating that community and connectivity.
So in the show notes, we're going to put all of the links to your socials and everything. Please follow Brynlee. Look at her page. It's amazing. She has so many helpful tips on there.
Absolutely.
And she's freaking adorable.
I know.
Thank you.
Let's be friends. Let's all follow each other and build a community and support each other.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, friends.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Thanks for joining us this week on the Living Big podcast. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review.
Join us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for all the things from relatable mom memes to fun girls' night ideas with your besties.
See you next week.